Hello. Hello. How is everybody today? It is Saturday, October 23rd, and we are well into fall. It's almost before Halloween, and it's sugar season. It's a season where everyone binges on sugar from now until, January. And I have been thinking about you. I've been trying to come on here been wanting to do this for a few weeks now. Been busy, but you have been on my mind. So I just wanted to come on here. When you look at the caption, you'll see that it is about appreciating your kidneys. And I was inspired to do this. Let me turn on this light. Hang on. It's a little better. Okay. Hey, Mohammed. I was inspired to do this because I kept seeing advertisements for adult diapers. And in the advertisements, there are like 40-year-old women looking healthy, and they're talking all about adult diapers. And then when I go into sometimes if I got to go to the Rite Aid or the CVS or the Walgreens to get whatever cotton balls or whatever it is like that, I've been noticing that the section for diapers for adults is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? At first I thought, my God, are there that many geriatric people and they're just selling this to, to people that are really in need? No, come to find out, this is for people that are young. So then the next thing that happened was a friend of mine has kidney stones and is scheduled for surgery and has been peeing blood, and they're also pretty young. And then that made me remember another classmate of mine passed away about a year ago because, of course, a birthday reminder came up on Facebook, and she's been gone. She died, I think, before her birthday, and she was only, 57 years old, and had diabetes and all kinds of problems. And I tried to encourage her to look into something different, but she didn't do it, and unfortunately she's no longer with us. Not that I'm a doctor, but I was just thinking about all the expenses and stress that she was going through trying to maintain this life that was becoming more and more difficult for her, because her diabetes, because of her kidney failure, meant that she had to get dialysis at least once a week, which meant that she had to pay for transportation to and fro to the dialysis. And then if she needed to stay in the hospital, that was another cost. And then because she was having difficulty walking, then she needed a wheelchair, but then she also needed to outfit her swimming pool, with a special lift and handrail. It just went on and on and on. So when we don't take care of our health, we are really accruing all kinds of expenses, burdening ourselves, burdening our family members, maybe burdening our friends in ways that we don't need to be burdened. So let's see who's here. Raul Hernandez is watching. Hello, Raul. Rebecca is here. Good to see you too, Rebecca. So that's what's running through my mind, because also when you look in the description, if you didn't realize it, there's free shipping for the rest of this month, which means a week and 1 day through October 31st, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, from the American Botanical Pharmacy, otherwise known as Dr. Richard Schultz. And those of you who are familiar with my grandfather, Bernardo, you knew that Dr. Schultz was his number one guy in terms of herbs. My grandfather also used herbs to heal himself. This is something that he imbibed from his own father, my great-grandfather, who was a root doctor as well as a medical doctor, at the turn of the century. So this was Common knowledge. Yes, of course, drinking plenty of water is helpful to the kidneys, but I'm talking about the average American diet today and what a disaster it is. Soda, soft drinks, full of sugar. I remember my grandfather was telling me the story about how there was a fellow that he knew that he saw one last time before the man expired. And he was a relatively young man. I think he was maybe in his 60s. And he was going to take a hike, because in Arizona hiking is very popular. And my grandfather said to him, you better cut out that soda you're drinking. And he said, the man replied something like, I will, or something. And my grandfather was thinking, well, you better do it soon. And my grandfather said, don't you know the man dropped dead? He died. I think either he died on the trail or he died the next day. So this drinking of sugary drinks and this excess of drinking alcohol is no friend of your kidneys, because your kidneys are responsible. They have a big responsibility in filtering all your blood. And I'm not sure, maybe someone here on the thread knows. Bonsoir Alain. Bonsoir, comment ça va? Hey Patricia. Maybe someone knows in the thread how many gallons or how many liters of blood the human body holds. But needless to say, it's a lot. So I thought I would come on here and share some facts with you, and then also encourage anyone in the US of A to go ahead and order while there's free shipping, because shipping is expensive. I just ordered myself yesterday because I realized I was out of things, and there's a new code. I'm an affiliate. There's a new code. It's AFL New, which you need to use with the link that I provided in the description of this live video. And if it's your first time, you can get 15% off. So that's pretty good. 15% off plus, free shipping is good. I took advantage yesterday. So let me show you a picture of the kidneys. Those are your kidneys. And I'm just going to get to the facts. I got this great brochure. Dr. Schultz is always doing great educational things, and I got this in the mail. 6 essential ways your kidneys are keeping you alive right now. 1, your kidneys are the only organ that produces active vitamin D for you. Vitamin D promotes strong, healthy bones and reduces your risk of cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and osteoporosis. And of course, vitamin D is good for your respiratory system. So I thought this was very interesting because I never realized that the kidneys did this. So it produces active vitamin D. What does that mean? That means that it takes the sun, because vitamin D is produced from the sun, right? Or maybe vitamin D supplements that you have, and it takes that and it converts it in a way in which your body can actually use. So if you don't have your kidneys, or you're missing a kidney, or you're on dialysis, you're kind of cruising for a bruise in there, right? You want to keep your kidneys. Hey, Autumn Carter, nice to see you on here. So that's number 1. 2, your kidneys are responsible for assimilating vitamins and nutrients. Low blood sugar, headaches, fatigue, drowsiness, low energy. These are all linked to poor nutrient assimilation by your kidneys. So there you go. So maybe instead of drinking more coffee, maybe it would be a good idea to do a kidney detox. Just clean out your blood, heal your kidneys. This is something that I do. I kind of maintain on a regular. This is part of the 5-day kidney detox kit, but also I just have it around because I like to use this on a regular basis just to maintain my health. I'll get to that more in a moment, but I just wanted to share that briefly. So, if you've got headaches, fatigue, drowsiness, or low energy, might want to check that out into your kidneys, because if your kidneys aren't healthy and they're clogged, then you're not going to be able to assimilate the nutrients that you need. 3, your kidneys filter all of your blood every hour. I already touched on that. All of your blood passes through your kidneys every hour, just like the oil filter in your car. Once your kidneys get clogged, they can't do their job, right? So, your car, you're dependent on your car. You want to make sure that oil filter is clean so things can run smoothly. So my grandfather used to say that our body is a vehicle. It's in Sanskrit, yantra, machine. It's a very, very sophisticated machine for the soul to be able to ride around in and fulfill its desires and execute its duties. But it is a machine nonetheless, and it needs to be maintained, and it needs to be respected as your temple. 4, your kidneys help regulate your blood pressure. 9 out of 10 Americans will suffer from high blood pressure at some point in their lives. That's crazy. That's nuts. So your kidneys apparently are important for that as well. I think 3 and 4 seem like they're linked together. If your bloodstream is full of toxins, is full of a kind of a sludge, then yeah, that's going to make it hard, to keep things regular. People eat fast food, all kinds of fried foods, all kind of sugary drinks and energy drinks and all these types of things. And it does have a detrimental effect over your organs and over your kidneys in the long term. Hi, Donique. Hi, Irene. Okay, 5. Your kidneys manage the production of red blood cells. Your red blood cells carry oxygen to every cell in your body. Oxygen. Your red blood cells carry oxygen to every cell in your body. If your kidneys are not working efficiently, your red blood cell count can waver drastically. So, everything, we're alive in this body, but everything that makes up our body, is also active and needs to be healthy, and it needs to have nourishment, and it also needs to eliminate. So basically everything poops. Even your cells poop. Okay. Your kidneys help to regulate all body fluids. If you suffer from dehydration, too little water, or edema, too much water, your kidneys are definitely out of balance. That's something I never thought of before. Okay, so then he goes on to explain how kidney failure is on the rise. I just thought, here we live in, like one of the most advanced countries in the world in terms of technology and gadgets, but we can't seem to get our health together because we're neglecting basic principles. So, what does Dr. Schultz have to say about kidney failure? Kidney failure is on the rise. Over the past decade, the number of Americans with kidney failure has doubled to more than 400,000 people, now being treated at a cost of $25 billion annually. $25 billion. Kidney failure is a $25 billion industry. That's crazy. Today, 1 out of 7 Americans has chronic kidney disease, and 90% of them don't even know it. That's what he says. 1 out of 7. That's millions and millions of people. So let's talk about the first thing, incontinence, which is what inspired me. Like I said, I keep getting these targeted ads for adult diapers. I don't need adult diapers, thank God. Okay, but apparently I fit the demographic for women who need adult diapers. Incontinence. An estimated 17 million adults in the U.S. have daily urinary incontinence, and a further 33 million suffer from the overlapping condition called overactive bladder. That's 1 in every 5 American adults. Fact, the adult diapers market size was valued at $13.3 billion in 2018 and is expected to reach $24.1 billion by 2026. That's an 81.5% increase. Wow, that's a hell of a business model, isn't it? Increase your profits by 81.5% because people are experiencing incontinence and you're selling more and more adult diapers to people. 2. Diabetes. An estimated 34.2 million Americans, just over 1 in 10, have diabetes, and 88 million more American adults, approximately 1 in 3, now have pre-diabetes. This is insane. This means that we're talking 88, we're talking 98, 108, 128, 100 and what? 32 million people have some form of diabetes? That's crazy. Fact, among diabetes patients, 5 million, 1 in 6, were smokers, 30 million, 9 out of 10 were overweight, and 13.5 million, 2 out of every 5 were physically inactive. Fact, new cases of type 1 and type 2 diabetes have skyrocketed among U.S. youth. And adolescents ages 12 to 18 years, more than 1 in 6, 18% of U.S. adolescents now have prediabetes. Okay, so we're not just talking about adults. So first it was 88 million people. That's 1 in 3 American adults have prediabetes. Not only that, now the kids have prediabetes. Now you've probably seen it, I've seen it, where there's like a 10-year-old who is like 100 or 150 pounds because their parents allow them to drink sugary soda pop. When I was a kid, if you were thirsty, you drank water. Maybe apple juice, right? But you drank water, not soda pop. So these kids are ballooning up. You can imagine what it's doing to their livers, but also you can see what it's doing to their kidneys. Francisco Quiera is here. Let me see. Who else is here? Good, you're welcome, Donique. I'm glad. I just felt called to do this. I know Bernardo, when we were working on this book, he was working on this book, Beyond 100, How to Live Well into Your Second Century, he kept saying to me how worried he was about the children because of this diabetes epidemic that they were going through, So really it's the responsibility of the parents to take control of their eating habits and supervise them and make sure that they do, at least at home, have a strong foundation to eat well, to drink water, and to eat clean foods, and to get into that habit. If you get them into that habit young, they won't become addicted to it. They won't develop a taste for it. They may have something occasionally with their friends, but they won't become an addict. And it's really important because their moods, their ability to learn in school, are all affected by this overconsumption of sugar. Really, really important. Dialysis. In 2018, 883 Americans had kidney failure and needed dialysis or a kidney transplant to survive was 2 in every 1,000 people. 554 and 3,800,000 of those patients received dialysis to replace kidney function, and 229,887,000 lived with a kidney transplant. Now, I don't know about you. You probably know somebody. I know someone, actually I know two people, like I said, my classmate who died a little over a year ago, she was going to dialysis. What was she going, like once a week? It was costing her a fortune. And all the money she had to spend, to try and get there and back. And she was always doing appeals and GoFundMes, to try and raise money for it because she was so incapacitated. I mean, her disease had completely taken over her life. She wasn't able to work, and then in the pandemic it was even worse. The money that it cost her to shuttle back and forth, the wheelchair, the medication she needed. May she rest in peace. It's crazy, She was a lovely person. Fact, after 5 years in dialysis, more than 75% of patients are dead, and in 10 years, more than 92% have died. Now you may think, dialysis is not a big deal. But do you really want to spend your whole life going back and forth to a hospital to be put on dialysis? And it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable at all, I mean, they tell you these medical things, and we're kind of detached from our bodies, so we think, okay, no big deal. It's be like taking a pill. It's not just like taking a pill. They have to hook you up and have all these tubes running in you, and so I understand it. It's quite uncomfortable. And another friend of mine, her dad, he at one point was practically on constant dialysis. Big drinker. Drank so much that he basically didn't have any kidneys left. And he spent years in dialysis, and at the end of it all, died. And it's sad. He could have lived a lot longer, So then it goes on to say, fact, kidney transplants have more than doubled in the last 5 years. Fact, 15 million Americans report kidney and bladder illness every year. 15 million Americans. 15 million report kidney and bladder illness every year. People, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? 9 million have potentially lethal kidney disease. Wow. So let's keep our kidneys healthy. And then finally, kidney stones. Now this came close to home because a very dear friend of mine, who's young, was peeing blood. So he went to the doctor to check it out. Turns out he has kidney stones. Painful, uncomfortable, may have to have surgery. Why do you want to go through that? So, kidney stones. Painful, debilitating bouts with kidney stones are skyrocketing in America. More than 30 million people are expected to get a kidney stone, twice the amount of 30 years ago. So 30 years ago, 15 million people. Now, 30 years later, 30 million people. Fact, 10 years ago, kidney stones occurred in approximately 5.2% of the U.S. population. So this is on an upward trend. Fact, today, due to high protein diets and increased stress, about 20% of men and 10% of women can now be expected to suffer from a stone during his or her lifetime. My grandfather always said stress was a killer. So, how do we deal with stress? Drinking. I mean, where I live around here, drinking, people drink all the time. I mean, they're just all out in the open about it, partying and partying and partying, I don't think they're doing anything to maintain their kidneys. That's alcohol is a big one. And again, we've already talked about soda pop and then again, just all those burgers people are eating or hot dogs and fried foods and fast foods and all of that. That is creating a problem, for you. It's creating, again, a sludge. If you must have it, please have it in moderation. So these are some of the reasons why it's important to keep your kidneys clean. So remember that every organ in your body, all 100 trillion of them, they all perform the same function, right? In, out, in, out, in, out. They need to take nutrients in, and they need to eliminate, to go out. As I said earlier, everything poops. But once that unwanted, unuseful, toxic stuff is out, it needs to be eliminated from the body, right? So that's why it's important not only to keep your liver and your colon clean, but also your kidneys clean. So I'm going to share with you, there's a 5-day detox program, kidney detox program that you can get. It's really not expensive. I think it runs about $75, and usually afterwards, at least when I do it, I will have some product left over, and the proof is I've got it right here. And I just actually ordered some more stuff yesterday because I wanted to take advantage of this free shipping. So the 5-day kidney detox, you could do it once a year, and it includes a kidney bladder formula, a kidney bladder tea, which actually tastes good. It's actually very pleasant. Has things in it like burdock root, but it also has juniper in it. Everything is either 100% organic or 100% wild crafted. There's also a detox formula. And then there's also instructions that come along for a kidney bladder flush drink. So let me just show you what I do and then share some other anecdotes, personal anecdotes. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but I just want to share with you that our health, it doesn't have to be complicated at all. This is one of the things that comes in the kit. This is the detox formula. I'm going to put on my eyeglasses so I can read to you the ingredients in this. The herbal ingredients are red clover blossom, Mojave, chaparral, herb, and resin, Oregon grapefruit, burdock root, yellow dock root, poke root, golden seal root, fresh garlic bulb, lobelia herb and seed, and habanero pepper. And the suggested dosage is 1 to 2 dropperfuls in 2 ounces of water, 2 to 4 times daily, while you're doing this. I also just do this about once or twice a week just to maintain. Hey Nancy Lieber, hey Margaret Nicholson, hey Concepta Rajan. So when he says dropperful, he's just talking about that. It doesn't mean that it goes all the way to the top. It's just whatever goes to the top just naturally. So that's one thing. Now, a personal anecdote. Actually, no, it wasn't this. It was with the kidney bladder formula. Okay, so let me not get it twisted. All right, the other thing that you're going to use is cayenne, liquid cayenne. You're only going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops of this. You don't need a lot of this, right? Cayenne is hot. Cayenne is also excellent for the circulation, for the blood circulation. So if you're doing a cleanse like that, of course, this will be very, very helpful to use. Now, what I don't have with me is the KB formula. I just ordered some yesterday. And the kidney bladder formula, this is my personal anecdote about it, which is not about kidney stones, but remember, it's kidney bladder formula. And what happened to me was about 3 or 4 years ago, for some reason, I had this gnarly bladder infection. I don't know where it came from. I had a gnarly bladder infection. It was painful to pass urine, like burning. And I thought, oh my God, I just moved here. And I was thinking, I should go to a doctor and have them check this out and see if I can get antibiotics for it or whatever, or an OBGYN. And because I was new here, I really didn't know anyone that specialized it, and I was asking around. And anyway, this went on for about a week. I was calling people, do you know? No, they didn't know, or they'd gone out of practice or whatever. And then, ding, the light bulb went on in my head, and I went, wait a minute. You've got kidney bladder formula in the refrigerator. Take it. So that's what I did. I took it, and within 3 days, I'm talking about myself now, my infection was gone. Okay, I'm relatively healthy. So that was awesome. I didn't have to spend money, going to a doctor's office and spending, $150 or whatever just to walk through the door. So I have found that these products are very effective because they're not watered down. The stuff that you're going to find in the health food store or the vitamin chain outlets are watered down. Dr. Schultz fills his vats 4 times to the top, 4 times, compresses to get everything out of it. You need to fill it up with herbs. You don't want to skimp on that. Not only that, they're not sprayed with pesticides. They're 100% organic, 100% wild-crafted, right? So these herbs that people are buying, in stores, or even if they're coming from India or whatever, those things are sprayed with pesticides before they come into the country. So obviously you don't want to be ingesting pesticides and so on if you're actually trying to detoxify your body. That's why I recommend this, I use these products myself. Let me see. The tea is actually very, very, very pleasant. I was pleasantly surprised because usually, when you get these teas, like I used to do golden seal tea or burdock tea, and it was nasty. The stuff is bitter, and yes, it's good for you, but ugh, it doesn't taste good. This kidney bladder tea, yes, it has those ingredients in there and more. So, for example, it has juniper in it. It has a host of different things. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it may have fennel in it. In other words, it has a nice balance of different cleansing herbs, but that are palatable, because ultimately, even if it's good for you, if you're not going to use it or drink it, what good does it do? None. The detox formula, I'm going to tell you, is also gnarly. It's strong tasting. So if you want to just have this in water, that's great, but you can put it in juice as well if you need to. So that is what's up for today. I just wanted to share that because, I keep seeing things on TV. Here's a picture of the detox tea. Also, you want to save the tea. I believe you put in a few tablespoons. There's instructions on the bag. You soak it overnight in clean water, distilled water, purified water. Then you bring it to a boil. You bring it to a simmer. And after you use the tea for a day, you don't just toss the herbs in the bottom because there's still stuff in there. You add, I believe, like another tablespoon or so of herbs, and you repeat the process. Cover it with water, fill it with water, let it sit overnight so it really steeps, and then the next day, again, you bring it to a boil, you bring it to a simmer, and then you drink that tea, and he has you putting the detox formula in the tea, and you drink, several cups of tea without the course of the day. So if you're working remotely at home, perfect, you just can go to the bathroom. If you're in a situation where you are back in the office or back in the workplace, you might want to wait until the weekend to do the tea part of it, but you could still do the detox, the KB formula, and the cayenne.